Carolina Panthers roster gradings are finally here. Please like and subscribe. I hope you enjoyed this video. Sam Darnold, that team, they're really good. They're ready to go. Of course, right now it's week 2 of the preseason. I hope they do really well. Please like and subscribe and enjoy the video. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Fun NFL. Of course, we're doing the Carolina Panthers roster grading. Starting off with quarterback, of course, we go A, B, C, D, F. Running back, same thing. Depth, of course, is going to be a big factor. Overall, of course, the overall grade for your team. Please do not take this as an offense because we will be doing videos on everything else that goes around the team, which is really important too. So, if your team gets an F grade, yeah, your team might stink, but it still doesn't mean you guys might win because, no, I'm just joking. Either way. Like and subscribe. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let's go. Let's get right into this. Okay, starting off, quarterback, Sam Darnold. Okay, I'm going to talk about him. He stunk last year. I have to admit that. Watching stuff, he did not look good at all. Yeah, his coach did not put him in a good spot. The team wasn't good at all either. It wasn't just him. I can't just give excuses for Sam, though. He has to step up this year, and he's not F. He's definitely not F. I'm not going to put, you'll see about him, and then you got PJ Walker backing him up. So he's a solid backup. He's nothing special, but whatever. Will Greer, he's terrible, but you can put him in, I guess. It's not as bad as some other guys, but now, let me just go grade this. Okay, now for the running back room. If you have a guy like Christian McCaffrey, it's hard for me not to give you an A. And it's even more definite when you have a backup running back who could definitely be a starting with so much potential. Okay, now running back. CMC, he's the best back in the league. I don't care what people say. He's an elite receiver, an elite runner. Great player. I can't really say much else about him because he's that good. He could have another 2,000-yard season. Chuba Hubbard, really good backup behind him. He could be a starter in a lot of places too. He didn't have a great week last week in the preseason, but he's a really good running back. Reggie Buffoon always gets hurt, and he's not great. So, Rodney Smith, he's fine. But this is a very good running back room. I'll be generous with Sam and assume that he has a decent year. I'm going to give him a C. Here's why. He probably should get a D, but I can't give him that D yet because he's definitely not one of the worst quarterbacks in the NFL. A lot more potential and a lot more youth and he's a lot smarter than a lot of other quarterbacks. You have to realize that. And the thing about him is he's going to throw interceptions. You have to realize that. But I can't give him that D because I haven't seen enough from him where I'm like, yeah, that guy's definitely a D quarterback. Now I'm going to running back, and it's good. Okay, now we go to tight end, and it's going to be a very quick coverage. It is very shaky. Dan Arnold, he catches the ball. He's definitely a D caliber guy. He's not an elite he can't catch the ball. That's his strength, but he's not great at it. He can't run block for his life. Ian Thomas, he's never been good with the team. He gets a couple touchdowns a year. That's it. Tommy Tremble, I like him. I don't like Colin Thompson at all. I like Tommy Tremble. Maybe he can get their starting job. He hasn't looked great, but I like him. This is a very, very subpar tight end. They don't have enough depth to give them an A, and they don't have an absolute superstar receiver. So I'm going to give them a B on this. It's a big strength of their team, and they have a quarterback who can get it to them, so that's really good for them. They didn't really have Teddy B, no offense to him. Doesn't have a great deep ball, so I can't really give them that. Now we go to tight end, and oof. Now we go to wide receiver. In wide receiver, it's very good. Robbie Anderson, very good deep threat. He doesn't score any touchdowns, but it doesn't really matter because when he gets the ball, it's a long play. DJ Moore, no touchdowns. You're not going to get any from him really. But he's such a good all-around player. He can run with it. He's just such a versatile player. He's basically Robbie Anderson, but he doesn't get hurt, and he's also really versatile. Terrace Marshall, he's their touchdown guy. You need a touchdown, get it to him. Terrace Marshall, most underrated rookie coming into this season. He could have a big year in terms of touchdowns, like 8 to 10 probably. Then you got David Moore. David Moore's solid. Brandon Zylstra, he's not great. Shi Smith, not great either. Keith Kirkwood, he's a bum. Hyman, he was whatever. The rest of these guys are these first 4 guys I really like. The rest are a little shaky. So even with the addition of Dan Arnold, it's going to be an F room because they don't have a guy who can block. That's the difference between the Cardinals tight end room and the Panthers. Panthers don't have a blocking tight end. The Cardinals have a really good one, but they might have would have, but it's really bad. They need a better tight end. D line, D line is very good. This thing is freeze. So ever since 2018, the offensive line hasn't been the same. It's just progressively gotten worse. In 2020, they weren't good at all. I'm giving them a D. They're not an F caliber because they have some good offensive linemen, young ones too, but they have a lot of issues on that. Now I go to D line, and this is where it gets fun. Okay, now it's offensive line for the Panthers. I gotta admit, it's not great. So we just start off with Cameron Irving. He's one of the worst left tackles in the league. He's really weak. Like he doesn't really make mistakes in the passing game, but he does give up sacks. He's not great in the passing game. He's very bad in the running game. He can't run block for his life. Trent Scott, whatever. Martez Ivy, he can't play. Just don't put him out there. If you do, he's gonna stink. Pat Elflein, he's actually one of the better guys. He just gets a ton of penalties. Dennis Daly, he's okay, not great. Mike Horton, bad. Then the rest of these guys, Panasuik is on IR. I've never actually heard of him. Deontay Brown, I've heard of. He's not good. Matt Paradis, probably, other than Taylor Moton, their best offensive lineman. They're not great. Like Matt Paradis is not great, but he does his job. Sam Tecklenburg, if you put him in, he'll do his job. He won't suck. Deontay Brown, shaky. Marcos Harrell, do not put him out there. Then you go John Miller. John Miller, he's very shaky also. Maybe doesn't get as many penalties, but he definitely just sometimes doesn't put any effort, and it really stinks. He's there. He's not a starting caliber guy, but like whatever. Taylor Moton, best offensive lineman on the team. He's an elite pass blocker, not a great run blocker, but he does his job. Brady Christensen, if Taylor Moton goes out, this offensive line could just absolutely stink, because Brady Christensen not good. Aaron Monteiro not good either. Offensive line's very below par. Can't give them an A yet. They have a really good depth here. They just like if they had one more dude, it would be an A. I want to give them an A. They're just a little too young. It's gonna be an A soon because Derek Brown is gonna step up this year and he's gonna play like a superstar. Like he didn't play great last year. He played good, just not great. And if he gets up there, the D line for the Panthers is gonna be really good. Okay, now I go to the D line. It's really good. Brian Burns, one of the best edge rushers young edge rushers in the NFL. He's better than a lot of people think. He's definitely top 10. I'd put him at 10 or 9. Really underrated. Marquise Haynes, like he's really athletic, like not elite athleticism, but he's an athlete and he's pretty technical. He's getting up there. It sucks that he's out for the last week of preseason, but he's a good job. Oh, that stinks. Just make sure to pray for that. Christian Miller, Kendall Donnerson, like these two guys are backups. They might not even make the team, if I have to admit that. Derek Brown, really good young D tackle. He was the 7th pick from last year. He's really progressed, and it looks like he's gonna be a really good player. Daquan Jones, really solid dude, run stuffer. That's what you gotta think of him. Davion Nixon, Brevion Roy, they actually came in this year. They were pretty solid. Yeah, they're not technical at all, but they made some really big plays. Morgan Fox, he was on the Rams. He was really well coached. Just to benefit the defensive coaches for the Panthers are really good too. Morgan Fox is really good. Detroit Gross Matos, he could be their edge rusher. Morgan Fox could be their inside guy on runs. But these 8 guys are really good. All the backups here, if they had to go in, they wouldn't do that bad. Like I've seen a couple of these guys play, like Phil Hoskins, he does his job. Walter Palmore, he does his job. Like these 8 dudes, they're awesome. This is a pretty darn good linebacker. I'm just joking, but still, it's a solid one. It's pretty much average. They have some really young, bright, good guys. But sorry about that. That was just a technical difficulty. There we go. Okay, it's average. It's not great, but it does it. They do their job. They have some pretty young, good players. I like it. Like they definitely upgraded. It wasn't a D, but it's a higher end C. I'll just tell you that. Now go quarterback. Exciting. Okay, and I haven't mentioned this yet. This defense is very young, so it's not going to get the benefits that other defenses get with experience. So I just want to put that out there. Shaq Thompson, he's solid. He's been solid his whole career. He has a pretty great contract because he doesn't make any mistakes. Frank LaFleur is bad. Josh Bynes should be in front of him. Josh Bynes is a decent. He's actually a really good backup, but he's actually a decent starter. So I really like their depth here. Patty Fisher behind Denzel Perryman, who's questionable, I guess. But anyway, Denzel Perryman, he's a good player, not great. He really struggles with the physical part of being a linebacker, but he's really good at calling plays, which is good for them. Patty Fisher, all these other guys, they're not great. I have to admit that. But Hassan Reddick as an edge rusher is a beast. He looks like a bust before last year, but then he had exploded with 5 sacks and ended the season with 12.5. Hassan Reddick's the real deal. He's going to really help this linebacking core. Like, he's going to have to go after the passer because that's what he does. He's not great at anything else, but it's really nice to have him. Jermaine Carter, he's solid. He was a starter. He wasn't great, but he did his job. Jeremy Chin, he's a linebacker. I'm just going to say he's a safety, so we're not going to put him. Clay Johnston, he's fine too. This is a good linebacker room. Not great, but it's solid. Whoa, I tried to be the best that I can. Sometimes comes out as being nothing. I can't just say that I'm the better man, 'cause that's not always true for something. I'm often nothing everything. I'll be there with the medicine and the medicines. Always a new better with me. I don't wanna lose this. Okay, now cornerbacks. Some of these guys get burned a lot. Stanley Thomas Oliver gets the third gets burned a lot. Rashawn Melvin also. Keith Taylor. Preseason he hasn't looked good. AJ Boya has gotten burned the past couple of years. Troy Pride Jr. he's on IR. He doesn't get burned, but he's on the IR. He's probably not going to come back. AJ Boya is suspended, but probably their best slot corner. I just want to put that out there. Dante Jackson, fastest corner in the league. He does not get burned, but he really needs to work on his technique because if he doesn't, then it's gonna be tough for them. J.C. Horn, no mistakes. That's his motto. Really good player, best probably man press corner in the draft. Not even it's close, but he's definitely up there. I really like him. It's not. I can't give him a C because these two dudes are gonna be really, really good. It's definitely above average in some aspects. I don't want to give him the B though. That's the thing. Like, it's a really good cornerback room. Like, I want these two guys to start. And Stanley Thomas Oliver on the slide isn't the worst. You can't have Stanley Thomas Oliver on the outside though. I'll just talk about it in the grades. Okay, now we're going to safeties. I'm still on corners. What am I saying? Corners. Okay, I'm gonna just be generous and give them a B. Like, I have not been generous at all with these Panthers. They need to have generosity because they're so young. I'm just joking about that, but either way, it's a good cornerback room, really young. I don't really like their slot options. Like, their 3-4 depth, not great. Like, if AJ Boya and Troy Pride were healthy, it would really help. But I'm going to give them the B because they have two really good man corners to start off with. They could be an A if those two absolutely progress. Kind of like what they had in 2016. I hope they have it because Dante Jackson or J.C. Horn could turn into Josh Norman, 2016 Josh Norman. That would really be cool. Okay, safety. It's going to be a really quick one. Jeremy Chin, really good safety. Not great at coverage. Justin Burris, one of the worst starters in the NFL. Pretty simple. He can't cover. He can't do anything well. Or anything like remotely decent. He just makes so many mistakes. He's not good. Pretty raw, just not good. Kenny Robinson, yeah, that's all I'm gonna say about him. Sean Chandler, he's solid. Like, he doesn't stink, but he doesn't do anything good. Sam Franklin, Doug Middleton, they're definitely where they should be. Jalen Julius, Brian Cole, they're special teamers. It's like in terms of coverage, it's one of the worst in the league. They have like Jeremy Chin, I'm really happy about. He's definitely a B. Justin Burris is an F though. There's no way I'm giving him an F because Jeremy Chin was one of the best rookies last year. I'm not going to give him a C. I'm giving him a D. Like, they deserve this. Here's why. They could not cover the deep ball the whole season. Jeremy Chin made some really good plays because they threw it to him a lot. He's a good player, really good player. Just needs to work on that coverage. He's a rookie. I'm not surprised. But either way. Now we go on to the next one. He was such a good run stopper. He made so many good plays. Turnover machine, touchdowns. Now we go to special teams. Okay, it's special teams time. Joey Sly, he's an average kicker. Like, he has a huge leg. Not great, not the greatest accuracy, but he does his job. Joseph Carlton, I've never seen him play. I've never seen him punt. I'm excited to see him. David Moore, he's a decent returner. He doesn't really do a ton. I have to admit that. C.J. Saunders, never heard of him returning. I'm just saying that, like, straight up. DJ Moore, he probably should. He's not going to get returns because he's the best receiver or second best receiver. That's why he's here. Trenton Cannon, he's a terrible kick returner, one of the worst in the league. He's not fast, but he does bowl over people. That's good to know. JJ Jansen, he's gonna there. Thomas Fletcher's definitely. I really like Thomas Fletcher. He's a generational, as many analysts put him as a long snapper. I'm happy he's there because he's a really good player. Okay, so special teams, it's pretty much average. Okay, now we go to special teams, and it's tough. Like, they're average. I'll just put it that way. They're average special teams. Like, they don't stink. They're not like the Rams or the LA teams, but they're definitely not the best. So I'm gonna get some averages down. Let me just do that. So the averages say that the offense for the Panthers is a C, and I agree with that. Like, if they had Cam, if they had prime Cam Newton, it would be a B. It wouldn't be an A because they don't have the receivers to do that. Like, their running back room carries them. I'm just putting it like that. I am contributing. Like, they have a really good offense. Their offensive line is not good. Their tight ends are not good. That hurts them a little, but they're still a pretty good offense. So, averages say their defense is a B. It's not above average. Like, it's definitely not bad. It's not D or F, but it's very, very likely that they will have an average defense. So, I'm putting it like that for them. I can't give them a B defense, even if that's what averages say. Can't give them it, and here's why. There's a good chance their corners will play like a C. So that might bring them down a point to maybe like a B, but they don't have a B defense. I just gotta tell you that. They don't have an above average defense. Now to depth. Okay, depth is really hard to judge, I have to admit that. I put that in everything. Quarterback, they have depth. Depth. Running back, I like their depth. Wide receiver, don't love their depth. Tight end, they don't have any depth. Offensive line, same thing. Defense, D-line, I've given a B. I just can't give them that A yet. And then for linebackers, I'll give them a B. Corners, C, definitely a B. They have some really good second, third, fourth corners. Safety, D. And yeah, that's about it. I'll give them a C for depth. They have some depth, not a ton. They have some, which helps because if you have some, you don't have like terrible depth. There's teams that have no depth, and that's the reason they stink. Now we go to overall. I'm giving them a D for overall. Here's why. The roster isn't really that great. I have to admit that. Like CC, yeah, they're gonna get an overall for a D, a C. No, I'm giving them a D. Here's why. It's just the team doesn't have what it thinks. You got to think of the overall record too. Like the roster on paper, it's a C roster. It's an average roster. They don't play like that ever. I will highly doubt that they'll play like an average roster this year. They will play. I highly doubt that they'll play like 8 and 9, 9 and 18. That's an average team. I'm just telling you that. They're gonna play like a D team. Here's why. They always stink in the second half of the season. It doesn't matter. The roster just falls apart in the second half of the season. It's just like, let's take a nap. That's gonna be the title of the video, just so you know. Either way, like, subscribe, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Panthers get a D. It's a little harsh. Just don't love their roster. This is like basically first-hand glance, and with all that deep dive, I gave them a lot of C's. I gave them 5 C's. I gave them a C for defense, offense. I can't give them a C for overall, though. You know, whatever. I'm giving them a C. I'm joking. I'm giving them a C. They don't get a D. Like, you look at the Falcons. They're better than the Falcons. I gave the Falcons a C, didn't I? Or did I give them a D? I might have given the Falcons a D. I'll check. What did I give the Falcons? I gave the Falcons a C. I'll give the Panthers a C. It's hard to give a team a D or an F unless they're really bad, so I'll give them a C. Either way, like and subscribe, and hope you enjoyed the video.